and St. Paul Johnson. Then comes Bob Hill's Denfeld Morgan Park Hunters. They may move up after that. There's a tie for 5th between Roseau and Hill Murray. Jefferson is 7th, followed by Park, Burnsville, and Kellogg. Cloquet at East also received gold.
This is John Doherty with the play-by-play and Jim Fisher with the color commentary. This game is being brought to you by the TV Productions 2 class of the Hibbing Community College Arrowhead region. The underwriter for this game is First Federal Savings and Loan of Hibbing. Jim, what is Eveleth going to have to do tonight to beat this tough Hibbing team?
Well, Eveleth tonight, in order for them to do good, they're going to have to, after talking with the team, the coach, and the players, they said one thing they're going to have to do, I guess, to win, they're going to have to outscore them. But in order to do that, they're going to have to play good in their own zone. That means checking him as soon as he crossed that red line. They're going to have to play good defense and stay out of the penalty box. Because last time Hibbing and Eveleth played, they played, it was 1-0 Hibbing going into the final 3 minutes of the last period when Hibbing scored 2 goals to win the game 3-0. Also, Eveleth is going to, their goalkeeper is the second best in the IRC. He's from Finland. Juha Kanervisto is a college or a high school exchange student from Lahti, Finland. And he's made quite a difference for this Eveleth team on defense. And if he stays up to his potential, we're going to have a good game, because he's got a 2.19 goals against average, and John Hyduk, he was a 1.75. So I think it's going to be up to Eveleth if they can slow down the fast-skating Hibbing team. She might be a good game, and they stay out of the penalty box. They're going to have a good game.
Well, we'll be back in a moment with tonight's starting lineups.
The starting lineup for the Eveleth Golden Bears. In goal, Johan Kanervavisto. At wings will be number 2, Terry Pernew. And number 4, Scott McNulty is on defense. Jamie Corva, number 7, is the other wing, with Kevin Diviscovi as center. Here's the Hibbing lineup. In goal will be Tim O'Hara. Antonio Cantani will be starting at a wing, or at center, excuse me. John Zezzo will be a wing. And Mike Grillo will be the other wing. On defense, we'll have Richie Bryant will start at one defenseman. And number 13, and the other one, Bo Nikoloff, will be the other defenseman. The team is coached by Bill Olson and assisted by Bill Teacher.
Well, we're back, and Hibbing breaks into the zone. Shots taken there by Catani, goes into the corner. Zeslos tried to get it out in front, it was poked away. Bryant takes a shot, wide of the net, over into the corner. Eveleth controls, bringing it up the boards, passes over to Terry Pernew. He couldn't handle it, back to the defense. Zeslo controls, Catani picks it up. Back to the defenseman. Bryant just shoves it into the corner. Eveleth bringing it out. Bucko Kachiver over. Pass didn't quite get through. Zessel's knocked down. Nikolov goes into the corner. Puck is frozen behind the net. Well, Eveleth looks like they've come ready to play this game.
So far, it started out what they want to do. Playing good defense in their own zone. They're checking heavy. It's amazing that Bernu, who's out there tonight, the last game he played was against Hibbing. He broke his collarbone that game. This is his first game he's played since that last Hibbing game.
Hibbing controls the face-off. Tom Hansen back to Christoph. Christoph shoots a save into the corner. Anderkin digs it out, back to the point to Christoph. Christoph flips it back in. Iozo controls in the corner. He's pushed into the boards, back to the point to Tom Hansen. Tom Hansen controls, again, up against the board. Puck is knocked away. He just shoots it back into the Eveleth zone. Merle was knocked down. The puck goes back to the Hibbing blue line. Christoph up to Iozo. Iozo tries to get in, is knocked off the puck. Eveleth controls. Jeff Corpy up the board. Couldn't quite get it over to Joe DeLitt. Corpy took a hit on the boards, controlled by Hibbing. Anderkin up to Iozo. Iozo back to Anderkin. Oh! Pat Moralt just couldn't make the save. Puck back out to the...
Rivers bounced it right over the net.
Eveleth tries to get it out. Eveleth dumps it into the Hibbing zone, controlled there by number 11, Sean Gusted. Up to Kasner. Kasner shoots. Nice save there by Canarvisto. Eveleth bringing it out. 2-on-3. Puck's knocked away there by Kasner. Gusted picks it up over to Vidmar. Vidmar breaks in. Tries to get a pass over to Gusted. Just couldn't hold on. And back to Vidmar. Vidmar out in front and passes back to the blue line. Eveleth bringing it out. Puck is knocked off Corva's stick. Eveleth dumps it into the zone. Gusted shoots it around the boards. Clouseau picks it up to Clouseau. There's the whistle.
Nice sticking.
We're going to have a penalty to Eveleth's number 13, Kevin Divasco. He gets 2 minutes for interference. Oh, it looks like Hibbing's keeping Eveleth pretty well tied up in their own zone.
Yeah, Eveleth is starting to overskate the puck a lot, and they're banging into each other, so I think they're losing control of their zone. They're not holding their positions at all, and Hibbing is just taking the play to them right now.
Iozo controls the draw over to Catani. It's knocked out of the zone. Nikolov tried to bring it in. He was offside. So we'll have a face-off just outside the blue line. Well, this is Hibbing's first penalty, power play of the night. We'll have to...
Eveleth averages about 4 penalties a game, so it should be a relatively penalty-free game anyway.
Nikolov controls behind the net, over to Tom Hansen. Tom Hansen brings it out, loses the puck. Goes out to center ice where it's controlled by Eveleth. Eveleth just shoots it back in the Hibbing zone. Puck is controlled by Pat Iozo. Iozo streaking up the boards. Smashed into the boards. Eveleth dumps it back out. Down into the Hibbing zone. Tom Hansen's back to pick it up.
Hibbing has made 17 of 52 power plays, so it gives him 32.6 percentage.
Pat Iozo shoots it into the Eveleth zone. Eveleth looking to dump it out. Controlled there by Iozo. Iozo dumps it back into the corner for Tom Hansen. Tom Hansen can't quite get to it. Iozo tips it. Katani in there. Iozo controls it. Back to Anderkin. Anderkin out to the point to Hansen. Hansen has it knocked off his stick out to center ice. Katani picks it up. Skates in, stops. Skates out to the slot. Passes it over to Anderkin. Back to Katani. Oh! Canavisto makes a nice save, and we're going to have another penalty.
Talking to the Eveleth players before the game, I was asking them about what they have to do to win, and they said they had to score, and I says that if such a potent scoring team as Hibbing, what do they have to do? They have to have God in the goal, and they says no, they have him already. I guess that's about as close as you can get coming from Finland.
Hibbing's penalty was on number 3, Antonio Katani. He got 2 minutes for elbowing. So that evens him up, and Eveleth will be on the power play in 15 seconds. Andrikin controls for Hibbing, back to Tom Hansen. Hansen over to Kristoff. Kristoff up the boards, intercepted by Randuns. And he's trying to shoot around the board. Eveleth is now at full strength, back to the point. Shot back in. Fought for against the boards. It's held for a face-off. Well, now we get to see what Eveleth can do on the power play.
Yeah, Eveleth has, I didn't get any figures on their power play. I guess the way it sounds, they're about average, but they play better. They have, when they're penalty killing, I guess they do pretty good on it. I didn't get no percentage on it, but I guess all year they've done quite well.
Eveleth controls back to the point. Pass over to McNulty.
Ooh.
McNulty shoots, it's tipped in front. It's a nice save by O'Hara. Eveleth controls up against the boards in the corner. Skates out in front, tip. Oh, nice save by O'Hara. Zessel dumps it into the Eveleth zone and falls on the puck and be a face-off and back down in the Eveleth zone.
For a while there, it looked like they had squeezed that box down to almost nothing of Hibbing. They had their umbrella offense had that box squeezed pretty thin there for a minute.
Hibbing controls the draw. We'll have an offside. Zessel dumps it in when Grillo was caught back into the zone.
That Eveleth goalie, he's a foreign exchange student from Lahti, Finland, or Lahti, Finland, and he was really amazed when he found out he was coming to a town that plays hockey, because the town that he's from, they don't have school teams, they have city teams, and he was the top goalie for their city team.
Eveleth controls out in front. Van Duez drops it into the Hibbing zone. Out to the point. Pass is intercepted by Zessel. Over to Grillo. Grillo into the corner. Tried to get it out in front. Couldn't. Eveleth controls behind the net. John Thomas over to Deviskoy. Hibbing tries to get it out, can't quite. Knocked back into the Hibbing zone.
3-on-1.
Oh, nice save there by O'Hara. Eveleth controls back to the blue line, shot back in.
Hibbing's at full strength.
They're fighting for it behind the Hibbing net. Passes out in front. And it goes all the way down into the Eveleth zone. Katani in there for checking. And it's stolen there by John Hagen. Vidmar pokes it loose. Eveleth controls out to the blue line, but not out. Now it's knocked back down into the Hibbing zone. And Vidmar shoots it down. Gusted couldn't handle the pass, and we'll have an icing call on Hibbing.
So far, I guess both teams have been doing pretty quite well in their own ends. Eveleth has been holding up pretty good. The last time Hibbing and Eveleth played, the score was 3-0. And as I said earlier, that it was all the way through the game, it was 1-0, and finally Hibbing scored 2 goals in the last 3 minutes to win the game, 3-0. So this should be a pretty close contest.
Shot from the point is wide. Eveleth controls, shoots it into the corner. Kasner intercepts the pass. Kicks it outside the Hibbing line. Kasner has the pass stolen from him. Kasner picks it back up, puts it back. Shot back out to the center ice area. Eveleth comes back into the Hibbing zone. Vidmar picks it up. Over to Kusul. Kasner's knocked off the puck. Hibbing gets it out to the center ice area. Pass is intercepted there by Gusted. Shoots it around the corner. Eveleth controls. Pass up to Terry Pernew. He can't control the pass. It goes all the way down. Cousseau picks it up. His pass is intercepted. And a shot. And O'Hara makes a glove save. Shot's wide from the point. We'll have a whistle.
The difference between these two teams in scoring is that just in the conference alone, Hibbing is scoring on an average of 6.5 goals a game. They're giving up on the average of 2.3 a game, where Eveleth, they're scoring on the average around 4 per game, and Eveleth is giving up about 3 per game. So generally, in a general category, I guess they're pretty defensive-minded teams.
Hibbing's penalty was on number 2, Tom Hansen, 2 minutes for interference. So Eveleth will be back on the power play again. Draw is controlled by Hibbing and shot all the way down. John Thomas behind the net. Over to Kachiver. Pass is knocked away by Andrikin. Hibbing controls out in front of their own net. Bringing it up to the blue line. Shoots it down into the Hibbing zone. O'Hare stops it behind the net for Bryant. Bryant shoots it around the board to Nikolov. Nikolov out to the point, but not out. Hibbing works it in, and pass is just knocked away. Eveleth controls out in front. Nobody was there. Back to the point. And it's knocked away. Anderkin knocked it down into the Eveleth zone. Behind the net. Eveleth bringing it out. And Cheever knocks it into the Eveleth zone, controlled by Corpy. Tried to get it back to the point. It was knocked away. Radoon's into the corner, out to the point. Shot, just wide. Eveleth keeps it in. Eveleth still controls in the corner, out in front, shot. Oh, and a nice save by O'Hara. He had to be quick on that one.
I'll tell you, that was a little close.
Eveleth controls back into their own zone. Jarvella tries to get it, dump it into the Hibbing zone, and doesn't do it. Oh, and that one just got away from O'Hara. He's lucky that one's going wide. Shot from the point. A nice save there by O'Hara.
Both teams at full strength again.
Eveleth had a man out there, but their defense just didn't let him get the shot off.
Again, like Eveleth says, some of the players are saying, it seems like they get the chances, but they just can't get that puck in there. They had a good chance there, but Delich was in there. He just couldn't get that stick down.
Draw is controlled by Hibbing. Brought up to the center ice area. Christoph picks it up. Oh, and he really belts an Eveleth player. Este can't control the puck. Shot back down into the Hibbing zone. Tom Hansen's pass is intercepted out to the point. Eveleth shoots it back in, and saved there by O'Hara. Pass up to Este. He's got a breakaway. He shoots. Oh, and a nice save. Oh, and he scores! Well, you could see that one coming as soon as the rebound wasn't controlled.
Nervous-though, he did the bad thing that the goalie should. On a breakaway, you're supposed to deflect that goal to the side, and he pushed it out in front of him, so it was an easy rebound shot.
That was a nice play, though. So it... At 3:16 of the first period, Hibbing takes a 1-0 lead. Dumped down into the Hibbing zone, controlled there by Nikolov. Nikolov shoots it around the back of the net. Katani picks it up, knocks it into the Eveleth zone. Controlled by Grillo. Grillo just couldn't get the handle on the stick. Held in by Hibbing. Grillo, Katani shoots it around the back of the net. Controlled there by Eveleth. And shot back down into the Hibbing zone.
That was Gozic's second goal of the year.
Bryant picks it up, skates into the Eveleth zone, can't control it. Katani knocks it over against the boards, and Eveleth dumps it out. We'll have an icing call on the Eveleth Golden Bears. That was a heartbreaking goal for Eveleth.
That was a breakaway, too.
Kenna Vistor made a nice save on the breakaway, and Eveleth's defense didn't cover up, and Gozic got the goal.
Well, I think it was more of a breakaway, and he had the rebound. If he would have kicked it out, he wouldn't have had a chance, but it came right out in front, and Gozic just picked it up and shot it over his left shoulder.
At the face-off to the left of Canavisto. Draw is controlled by Eveleth, shot around the boards. Takes a weird hop off the board, but Eveleth still controls, bringing it out to the center ice area, shooting it down into the zone.
There's 2 minutes left in the period.
Puck's controlled by Iozo, over to Anderkin. Oh, a nice sliding block there by Kochever. Kochever tries to get a pass up to Pernu, and he misses it, and we'll have another icing call on Eveleth with 1:43 left in the first period.
We want to say that this game is being brought to you by the Television Production 2 class and Mass Communication Department of Hibbing Community College, Arrowhead region. The underwriter for this program is the First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Hibbing.
Now Kasner will take the draw for Hibbing. And Pat Forte will take it for Eveleth. Yep. Forte controls back into the corner. Shot around the board. Corpy gets it out to Delic. Delic tries to dump it into the zone. It's blocked by the Hibbing player. Christoph controls behind the net. Back over to Tom Hansen. Hansen up to Hagen. Hagen over to Kasner. Kasner shoots. Eveleth controls the rebound. Up to Renew. Hibbing knocks the puck away. We have an offside. So the puck will come outside the Hibbing blue line. Really a defensive first period.
Yeah, both teams have been doing quite well other than that one goal. It's been a pretty good hockey game.
Not a lot of chances on goal, but
No.
basically a defensive game.
No, it's
Played at
basically,
center ice.
yeah, both teams are holding their own.
1 minute to play.
With 1 minute left in the period, Eveleth controls the draw back down into their own zone. Shot around the boards. Controlled there by Diggerness. Diggerness puts it up to the center ice area. Over to Lewis. Lewis bumps it into the living zone. Picked up there by Bryant. Bryant brings it out. Este can't control the pass. Hibbing's in forechecking. Gozic is fighting for the puck. Eveleth controls. Around the boards. Out to the point. Nikolov. Nikolov shoots it wide. Controlled over there by Bryant. Bryant shoots back into the corner. Eveleth controls. Brings it up to the center ice area. Puts it down. And that'll be the end of the first period. With the score, Eveleth behind the Hibbing Blue Jackets, 1-0. After the first period, the Hibbing Blue Jackets lead the Eveleth Golden Bears by a score of 1-0. Jim, can you give us the stats?
Okay, the goal was scored by number 9, Pat Gozic. That was his second goal of the game. The penalties for the game, Eveleth had 2 penalties. Antonio Catani, he had an elbowing penalty, and also Tom Hansen, he had an interference penalty. The only penalty for Eveleth was by Kevin Devisconi. He got one for interference. The saves for the game are Juha Kanervis, though, he's got 7 saves, and Tim O'Hara, he's got 6. And we'll be right back. Welcome back between periods here. I'm here with our guest for this between periods are the Hibbing cheerleaders. So to start with, I'll start on my right. We'll have the names and grades.
Danielle Stish, 12th grade. Susan Sitch, a junior.
Leslie Degani, 12th grade. Missy Versich, 12th grade.
Stacy Paginen, 12th grade.
You already did. Diana Hautala, 11th grade.
Girls, as cheerleaders, is there a lot of work to this? How are your tryouts?
They're hard.
In what respect?
It takes a lot of time to learn what's going on and the moves and stuff.
Do you have to keep up with this a lot? There's a lot of work as for all through the year?
Yeah, you practice every Wednesday until about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Are you cheerleaders for all the sports?
Right, football and then hockey, basketball, right. We rotate this year, so we have to cheer for everything.
How many cheerleaders are there?
There's 12.
12
A squad.
6 B squad.
So then you switch between games? You got a rotating schedule then?
Right, yeah. Two squads of 6, and then we just rotate.
How about over here? What does a cheerleader do? What's the object of a cheerleader?
Well, we're here to promote school spirit and just to encourage the fans to use good sportsmanship and just for a lot of fun.
How about you? What's your...
About the crowd control is a lot of it too. Like if the fans start booing and things like, we've got to try and control them for good sportsmanship. Like,
How do you control a crowd as crowd control?
it's not easy. Let me tell you. Well, every time the other team will get a penalty, everyone will just get up and we'll go shh, and then they usually just laugh at us. They don't really listen to us, but we try anyway.
You try to control it, just get a cheer out there that everybody knows or something, and you bring it around? Is there a group or something that governs the cheerleaders? Is there a body or is it an organization that controls cheerleaders?
Well, cheerleading is considered a sport, just like hockey or anything, so we run under that. We have a code of our own, plus the Hibbing High School, plus the state rules, like no drinking, smoking, anything like that. So we're considered sports also.
Oh, I didn't realize that. What else? What other kind of things are involved in that?
Well, what? Like
As far as your...
We have our own constitution, cheerleading constitution, and it gives rules, you know, like about who goes to state tournaments, and, you know, we have a merit-to-merit system where if we're late for practice, we get knocked off so many points, and we have excused and unexcused absences, and everything's based on a point system for all of us.
When you have tryouts, how many kids or how many girls appear for tryouts?
It depends. Like, I tried out in 10th grade, there were a lot of girls, and a lot didn't get chosen. This year when I tried out, there really weren't very many. Like, I don't know, how many would you say?
40 this year.
Right.
Is that because maybe girls' sports and everything are appearing more now and they're trying out for more now?
Yeah.
Do you have any boys try out for cheerleading?
No.
Would you take a boy in your cheerleading group?
Oh, I guess it would be fun, yeah.
Is that
Colleges have boy cheerleaders.
when you say a lot, how many, what do you say a lot is that try out?
I don't know. Like, I'd say maybe 30 tried out this year, and in past years it's been up to 70 girls.
70 girls?
Yes. Yep. The first couple years I tried out, I didn't make it, and there was like 70 girls I tried out.
Say in a 10th grade, you made the squad, you just don't automatically make it year to year. Do you have to try out each year?
Try out each year.
That's the bad part of it, yeah.
So it's not an automatic thing. What's the difference? As far as cheerleading for the different sports, which do you think is the hardest and which do you think is easiest?
Well, for some people, hockey is the hardest because you have to skate and that. But if you know how to skate, it really isn't too bad. And they're not really hard because you know the routines in order to make it anyway. It's just you have to practice a lot, and we have a lot of games every week. And
are you girls riddled by injuries like the players?
yes, we've had quite a few this year, a lot.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What kind of injuries have you had?
This year, we were practicing for the first football game, and I fell and I broke my back. But I'm back. Just like before.
Just like that?
Yep.
Termination.
Do you have any annual events in your group alone that you do that makes it more interesting?
Well, around Christmas every year we get together for a slumber party and we all exchange gifts and things like that. We have a lot of fun together. We make it, as hard work as it is, we make it a lot of fun.
Just girls?
Yes.
Well, it sounds like you have a pretty good group here. Do you have a cheer that we could end this with? Let's not be embarrassed, though. Let's do something.
Okay, come on, take your phone.
Welcome back to welcome back. This is the beginning of the second period. Hibbing leads the game 1-0. Hibbing controls in their own zone. Bryant over to Nikoloff. Nikoloff up to Grillo. Grillo loses it. Back to Vidmar. Katani picks it up, puts it into the zone. Eveleth knocks it out. Hibbing shoots it right back in. Bryant is knocked down. Eveleth brings it in. 1-on-1. We have a penalty. To Bo Nikoloff of Hibbing. I think he'll get a 2-minute minor for tripping.
Well, I guess that was an insurance.
Minor penalty on
insurance penalty because that.
For tripping. Correction, number 13, Nicola. For
After he got caught for tripping there, he got a little late hit. Hit the boards pretty hard.
Yeah, he did.
Eveleth controls the draw in the Hibbing end. Puck is shot into the corner. Kitani knocks it out of the zone. Zessel just misses the pass. Kitani in forechecking. Eveleth controls, brings it out of their own zone. Corpy makes a move around Hansen. Back in the corner, out in front, out to the point. Over to the other point, back. Thomas tried to get it into the corner. Now it isn't in the corner. Back out to the point. Puck is frozen out in front there for face-off.
Buffalo's doing quite a bit of passing in this time. Setting up okay here.
They need to get the shot on the net, though.
Yeah,
You can't- you
have to score pretty soon.
You can't score unless you shoot. Pat Iozzo takes the draw for Hibbing. And Jamie Corva takes the draw for Eveleth. Eveleth dumps it into the corner. Controlled by Eveleth, out to the point. Shot there, saved by O'Hara. Shoots, another save by O'Hara. It's blocked out in front. O'Hara holds it for a save. Holds it for the face-off. And again, Hibbing isn't letting Eveleth get in for a second shot there.
They're not. They had, O'Hara had 2 good saves there. But they're tying him up. Hibbing's trying to have the players up. But they can't get in there.
Draw is controlled by Pat Iozzo. Shot around the boards, held in by Eveleth. Over to the point. Tried to center it. Vidmar shoots it down the ice. With 46 seconds left in the penalty. Eveleth in their own end, bringing it out. The player was knocked down, no penalty was called. Eveleth shoots it down into the corner. Anderkin back behind the net to Gusted. Gusted tried to hit by Ozos. The shot by McNulty is blocked, and the shot down the ice by number 14, Pat Murrow. Kitani knocks down the Eveleth player. Eveleth picks it back up. Eveleth gets it out. Tom Hansen shoots it back down into the Eveleth zone.
Hibbing at full strength.
Hibbing's now at full strength. The shot just wide of the net. O'Hara holds it there for a face-off. Well, Hibbing did an excellent job of killing that penalty.
Yeah, only just those 2 shots. 2 shots on goal. They did a pretty good job of tying up the Eveleth players in their own end.
Kasner will take the draw for Hibbing, where in his corner will be Jarvella. Jarvella controls the draw. Centered. Shot by the Eveleth player was blocked. Hansen brings it down. Oh, they scored! Hagen on a blast from the point.
John Hagen, that was a good screen shot. Rivas, though, he was late on that one, so you can see he was screened on that.
I think that goal will be unassisted there. John Hagen, it was a really hard shot, too. It should have been saved if he'd have seen the puck.
Yeah, that was on the...
Scoring for Hibbing number
right over his right shoulder.
Hagen, unassisted. Number 16.
Scoring was John Hagen unassisted. So Hibbing takes a 2-0 lead. Kasner dumps it down into
Eveleth's going to have to get some...
Eveleth end.
What do we got here? Oh, he was caught in the net.
The net is knocked off its post, so we have a whistle.
Well, Eveleth is going to have to get their offense cranked up. No, it's going to be tough to come from behind.
Eveleth is not playing bad defense either. It's just that those two mental lapses there, and they cost him 2 goals.
We're going to say again that this game is being brought to you by the Television Production 2 class and the Mass Communication Department of Hibbing Community College, Arrowhead Region. The underwriter for this program and this game is the First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Hibbing.
Kasner will be facing it off against Deveskoy. Deveskovoy. Back to Hansen. Hansen shoots it in. Just shot wide. Hibbing controls. Kasner picks it up out of the crowd. Christoph shoots it back into the corner. Around the net. Eveleth controls. Kochever picks it up. Skates out in front of his net. Passes it over to Korva. Korva dumps it into the Hibbing zone. Hansen picks it up. Skates up the right side. We'll have an offside call. Looked to me like John Hagen got knocked into the Eveleth zone there for the offside.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. This is 8CCV cable channel 2 community television for the city of Hibbing.
Hibbing controls the draw. Nikolov dumps it back down into the Eveleth zone. Thomas shoots it around the boards for Raduns. Raduns puts it up. Eveleth controlled. Raduns into the corner. Hits the back of the net. He's knocked down. Nikolov picks it up. Eveleth tries to shoot it back in, and it's deflected, and O'Hara makes the save. Face-off will come to the right of O'Hara. Draw is controlled by Hibbing, stolen there by Zessel. Zessel skates down the left, shoots it around the net, picked up there by Vidmar. Vidmar dumps it back in for Grillo. Grillo dumps it into the corner for Catani. Catani tries to get it out to the point. Can't. It's knocked down. Picked up there by Gusted. Gusted back to Vidmar. Vidmar loses it. Controlled by Eveleth in the center ice area. Tried to dump it cross ice. Controlled there by Catani. Catani skates into the Eveleth zone. Tries to get it back to Grillo. Grillo over by the board shoots. And we'll have a penalty there on Catani for pulling down Ross Richards. And he went down hard.
For a while it looked like he was injured out there.
I don't know if that was a good penalty. They were in their own zone. They had good control of the puck, moving it around rather well.
Penalty number 3, Catani for interference.
Antonio Catani will have a 2-minute break. He was got a penalty for interference at 10:17 of the second period. Eveleth really needs to get a goal out of this power play.
Yeah, they do. Being behind 2-0 against this good Hibbing team, they got to get her cranked up now because it's the best chance now.
Tom Hansen shoots it down just wide of the net. Eveleth controls. Kochever brings it up, shoots it down into the Hibbing zone. O'Hara stops it behind the net. Tom Hansen shoots it around, stopped at the point. There's a shot, shot's wide, knocked into the corner by O'Hara. Tom Hansen tries to get it around the boards, picked up there by the Eveleth player. Out to the point. Into the corner. Raduns fighting for it. Christoph blocks the pass out in front, out to the point. Puts it over to the other point. Oh, and there's a goal by Hibbing. Or, excuse me, Eveleth.
That was a beautiful setup play. They had two
Perfect.
Hibbing men laying a knife.
O'Hara never had a chance.
Oh, he never did. That was...
I don't think...
a pass from the point over there to Corva, who just put it in. O'Hara never...
I don't...
He hadn't even started to move.
I don't think he even seen the puck go over there. I think he thought it was a shot.
Scoring for Eveleth, number 3, Corby. From number 10, Thomas. From number 15, Kachiva.
The scoring was Jeff Corpy from John Thomas and Bucko Cheever. So Eveleth draws within 1 goal at 9:17 of the second period.
Well, that power play helped.
Kasner shoots right on. Rebound is knocked away. We fight for it in the corner and the puck is stopped. So we'll have a face-off to the left of
Talking to the
Kenner Vister.
Kenneth Visto, the Eveleth goalie, he was saying it was a big change for him to come to America to play, because in world hockey or the European hockey that they play in, Finland plays, and the rink is wider and it's longer, and he says it's hard to adjust when you got such a short distance behind the goal, because the action's a lot quicker between the board and the net here than it is back home. We got a little mix-up on the players here.
Bringing it out.
Number 3. Number...
Hibbing controls over to Vidmar. Vidmar tries to get up, intercepted there by the Eveleth player. Gunstead picks it up and saved there by Cantor Visto. Eveleth controls behind the net. Stolen there by Zessel. Zessel gets it back to the point. Vidmar shoots it back in. The shot there is saved by Kenner Visto. Eveleth passes it up, center ice area. Pass is blocked there by Vessel. Vessel dumps it back down into the Eveleth area, Eveleth zone. Eveleth controls behind the net. Katani in there forechecking. The puck is right out in front, and Grillo couldn't shoot. Tom Hansen, oh, and a nice save by Kenner Visto.
That is a good glove save. If possible, that one would have gone right in over his right shoulder, left shoulder.
That was a nice save.
Yeah.
Hibbing's putting the pressure on again. Trying to counter after Eveleth scored.
Yeah, Hibbing is the continuous pressure. You're going to wonder when a team's going to play most of the defense. Another good
nice save there by Kenner Visto. Rebound's kicked around the boards. Oh, and there's a good solid hit there. We'll have an offside. Puck is controlled there by Eveleth. Shot down into the Eveleth zone. Shoots it around the boards. Knocked off the play. Jarvella. Puck is knocked into the boards. Shot back around to the point. And there's a shot. O'Hara gloves it and holds on to it for the face-off. Well, Eveleth's starting to pick up their pace a little bit now, too. They're having a few sloppy passes, but...
that last one, he had a good fake on the defenseman, but he lost the puck.
Hibbing controls the draw. Shoots it down the ice. We're going to have an icing call. So they'll bring it right back.
say again that this game is being brought to you by the Television Production 2 class in Mass Comm Department of Hibbing Community College, Arrowhead Region. The underwriter for this game is First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Hibbing.
Draw is controlled by Eveleth. The shot was deflected wide. Eveleth controls behind the net. It's out in front. Out to the point. Pass is intercepted there by Pat Iozo. Iozo is knocked into to the left of the net. Controlled there by Grillo. Moreau. Eveleth controls, bringing it down into the Hibbing zone. Shot. Oh, and they scored! O'Hara lost that one.
It bounced. It hit the front part of his glove. He had closed his glove, and it hit the palm part of his glove, and it bounced right over his shoulder into the net. I'd have to say that's a luck shot. No way O'Hara should. He just misjudged. He closed his glove before it got to it, just like a baseball player. I'm sure he's disgusted at that one, because that was an easy glove shot for him. It just bounced off his palm like a first baseman would be.
Number 4, technology from number 7, Corva. 4 from 7.
The scoring on that was number 4, Scott McNulty, got the goal with an assist from number 7, Jamie Corva. Hibbing controls, shoots it down the ice. Oh, and the ref takes a spill and takes down the Hibbing player, and we'll have an icing call. Excuse me, the Eveleth player. Got quite a reaction out of the crowd.
Yeah, I guess anything having to do with the stripes of the zebras gets quite a roar on anybody. We got a good crowd on hand. Being Eveleth Hibbing, I guess we got about the same amount of participants on each side, but it's quite a lovely crowd on both sides.
Hibbing controls the draw. Vidmar shoots it around the back of the net. Eveleth controls in the center ice area, losing it to Clouseau over to Hagen. Hagen dumps it into the zone, Eveleth zone. Eveleth controls, bringing it out. We got a 3-on-3. Eveleth just dumps it down. Gusted shoots it around right out in front. Shot is blocked. Out in front. Shot on the net. Nice save there by O'Hara. Hibbing controls. We're going to have a penalty to the Hibbing Blue Jacket. Number 5, Mike Vidmar, is going to get it for hooking. So that'll give Eveleth another shot, and they're riding high.
They're coming on strong, no?
It's a bad time for Hibbing to take a penalty because Eveleth is really turning it on.
Yeah, Eveleth has increased. That second goal really brought him around. Who's that penalty on again?
Mike Vidmar got the penalty for hooking, so he'll be sitting down for 2 minutes. Draw is controlled by Hibbing right to O'Hara, and he makes the save, so we'll have another face-off to the left. Hibbing has Hansen, Katani, Kristoff, and Zessel killing the penalty for him. To the line. It was out. So we'll have a face-off just outside the Hibbing line.
Hibbing so far, or Eveleth so far this year has a 7-3-1 record, and their losses have come against Hibbing, Falls, and Greenway. And
Eveleth controls the draw. Shot in. Kristoff picks it up, shoots it out. Zessel tried to poke it out, shoot. Oh, beautiful. O'Hara makes 2 great saves. One shot from the point and another shot from right in the middle of the slot. Oh, a nice defensive play there by Zessel. Oh, Katani just misses a pass here. He'd had a breakaway.
Eveleth had her there, O'Hara came up with...
Zessel with the shot, just high over the net. Zessel knocks the Eveleth player off the puck. It's held there for a face-off. Well, Hibbing come down and turned the power right on.
Yeah, Eveleth had it beautiful chance there. O'Hara made the stop twice, but they came up short-handed on that one. And Hibbing just turned her around and came down and put their own power on. 4:51 left in the second period.
Draw is controlled by Eveleth. Behind the net is Thomas. Thomas puts it over out in front of the net to Corpy. Corpy over to Randoons, shoots it in, and O'Hara has to make the save. Holds it for a face-off to the left. With 4:37 left in the second period, Hibbing and Eveleth are tied at 2. There's 53 seconds left in the penalty to Vidmar. The shot by Hibbing, nice save there by O'Hara. O'Hara makes another save in front of the net. Puck is still controlled by Eveleth. Another shot, another save. Oh, they scored! Number 3, Jeff Corpy, was parked right in front of the net. Nobody was there to push him away. He just sat there and pounded away at O'Hara. Number 3, Jeff Corpy, was parked right in front of the net. Nobody was there to push him away. He just sat there and pounded away at O'Hara until he knocked the puck in.
O'Hara earlier had that, he jumped for that puck and it fell in front of him. That could have been a disaster, but now Eveleth is just fighting for it. They're getting it. They're picking up the loose pucks now.
Hibbing's defense, which usually keeps the net in front of the net pretty clean. They must have been sleeping on that one.
Yeah, they were. No, it's Hibbing's turn to come.
That's a power play goal.
Number 3, Corpy from number 8. Randoons from number 13. Destiny 3.
Scoring is Jeff Corpy. Number 3 from number 8, Brian Randoons. From number 13, Kevin Devescovy. Hibbing shoots it down into the Eveleth zone. Eveleth picks it up, brings it out. Pass is intercepted there by Hagen. Hagen's shot is blocked. Eveleth gets it out of the zone. Controlled. Hagen tried to get it. We'll have an offside. Puck was brought outside the line, and Kwiatkowski brought it back in. So we'll have a face-off just outside the Hibbing blue line. Hibbing's going to have to turn it back on again, although they are an explosive team.
No, they're very explosive. I don't think they're not very. They haven't been behind much this year. I doubt maybe once or twice, but the composure that they carry, I think this isn't really shaking too bad.
That Iozo controls it. Oh, and that Adrian falls down.
He really took a spill there.
Eveleth controls up the boards.
Oh,
pass is deflected, or else we'd had another breakaway. Iozo takes his man into the boards. Puck is pushed around the boards behind the net to Hansen. Kristoff puts it up to Marolt. Marolt's knocked off the play. We'll have an offside. So with 3:17 left in the second period, Eveleth's got the lead, 3-2.
Well, the Eveleth players says they came here. He says they've been waiting for this game since Hibbing played at the Hippodrome. So they said they came here. They got to outscore him to win, and they're trying their darndest to do it.
Eveleth controls the draw, shoots it down to the left of O'Hara. Kristoff controls, slides it up the boards to Adrian. Adrian over to Marolt. Marolt fans on a pass to Iozo. Tom Hansen takes his man down. Adrian picks up the pass, picks up the puck over to Kristoff. Kristoff back to Adrian. Adrian comes in, shoots another. Oh, nice save there by Canterbisto. Hibbing brings it back. Passes it over. The shot is deflected wide of the net. Iozo controls over to Marolt. Marolt up to Adrian. Adrian's all alone. He's knocked off the puck. Eveleth controls, switching lines.
Take the body.
Pass is deflected down into the Hibbing zone. Kristoff controls it. Stolen there by Eveleth. Oh, and the shot is just knocked wide. Iozo did a good job there to keep the puck away from the Eveleth player. And,
well, you know, it's becoming one of these games again, you know, Hibbing being the #1 team in the state. They're, everybody's out gunning for him, and Eveleth is doing their darndest now to try to keep their record clean.
The Eveleth player breaks his stick on the face-off. Bryant controls up to Grillo. Grillo breaks down. Grillo breaks in on the right side, shoots. Oh, nice save by Canavisto. Eveleth's breaking back, 3-on-3. Knocked down into the corner. Taken away there by Bryant. Shot out in front was knocked away by O'Hara. Nikolov shoots it around. Bryant passes up for Catani a little bit too far. Catani knocks it off the Eveleth player. Stick. Zessel fires it up into the Eveleth zone. Knocked up to the Eveleth player. Grillo misses a pass to Catani. Catani races in. Kochever controls. He's knocked off the play. There by Grillo. Catani controls it behind the net. Oh, a nice move, and he just can't control the puck. He still has control. Catani out to the point to Nikolov. Nikolov shoots it back into Zessel. Zessel out to the point, back to Nikolov. Nikolov shoots. Hit an Eveleth player out in front.
He really got hit.
2-on-2 break. Puck is knocked over to the boards. Eveleth shoots it towards the net pass, or the shot was knocked into the corner. We have 1 minute remaining in the period. Pass out front is deflected behind the net. Nikolov passes it up to Iozo. Iozo can't control it. Eveleth intercepts it. Puck is knocked around down into the Hibbing corner to the left of O'Hara. Eveleth knocks it away. Nikolov falls. Murault tries to get rid of it. Murault still controls along the board. Passes it up to Adrian. Adrian shoots. Oh, a save there by Conovister.
He got it between his legs.
That one almost went in.
Yeah, he stopped there with his stick first, and it bounced, and he just, luckily he got down to his knees to block it from going in.
That was a nice save, and the Eveleth's defense, they stayed right there too. They had a Hibbing player to the left of Conovister, and he was being boxed out by the Eveleth defenseman. So the face-off will come to the left of Conovister. Pat Iozo will take it. Excuse me, Pat Iozo will take it for Hibbing, and Kevin DeBescovi will take it for Eveleth. Draws one by Hibbing. Shot in there by Adrian. Iozo controls. That's the end of the second period. The score 3-2 in the favor of the Eveleth Golden Bears. That was more of a wide open game than we expected tonight. Or more of a wide open period than the first one. With having Hibbing score 1 goal and Eveleth score 3 goals.
Yeah, it was all Eveleth this period. They controlled the tempo of the period that time. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. After the second period, Eveleth Golden Bears have taken a surprising 3-2 lead. Jim, you want to give us the statistics?
Yes, in this period, Eveleth surprisingly came back with 3 goals. They scored the first one by Brian Radunce, and the second goal was by Scott McNulty, and the third one was by Jeff Corpy. The only goal that period for Hibbing was John Hagan when he was unassisted. The penalties in that period, Eveleth had one. It was a hooking penalty to Jared Lewis. And penalties to Hibbing, one was by Mike Vidmar for hooking, and Tom Hansen was for interference. The total saves now for Tim O'Hara in goal He's got 11, or he had 11 that period for a total of 18. Juha Kanivisto, he had 10 for a total of 16. I'll be right back in a minute with my guest, Frank Catani. My guest between periods this time is Frank Catani, who's the coach of the Hibbing Cardinal hockey team. Frank, your team is rated now as #1 in the nation, and is that a first for you?
Well, we were rated one time about 4 years ago for 1 or 2 weeks as #1. Then we dropped down in the standings with a few losses towards the end, but this is the first time that we've had a team that's gone on now with 11-1 record at this time of the season.
Does this pose any kind of a pressure problem as far as on the kids or anything as being #1 in the nation?
No, it really hasn't in a sense. I don't know if it's really sunk into them, if they know what it's like to be #1 in the nation. I asked them many times, when's the last time you're #1 in any other thing you've ever done? And they start wondering, you know, maybe it is something really important, and it is. It hasn't caused any problem because of the maturity of our kids. A lot of our kids have been away either to a 4-year school and came back, or to a junior A program, and the maturity factor in 4 lines has helped us a lot in achieving this.
Maybe, I suppose maybe you could also say that probably since this isn't a big media area, since this is all through the polls that are made through sports writers, that, you know, being not a big media area like Minneapolis and that's one of the reasons also that we probably wouldn't get that.
Right. They don't get it blown too out of proportion. They keep it right where it should be. There's only about, I think at one time there were 30 schools playing community college hockey in the nation, and I say right now they're probably between 20 and 22 actively playing. And to be rated #1 and you know, is a big thing. But again, it's kept in the right perspective.
Do you think, how is recruiting for Hibbing here? Is this going to help you now? And of course, the tournament will be in DuPage or Illinois. Will this help you?
Well, just playing here now already, I have 8 letters laying on my desk, and a parent and a son came over today from Grand Rapids to see the school. But it has to help. And I've been around in this program now for 13 years, and we've won 4 state titles. We've been in the national tournament. We have, I think, 12 All-Americans in the last 13 years. So a lot of the publicity's gone on. A lot of the kids have gone out in the area and helped sell the program. But, you know, you got to keep in mind that we're not going to ever build a dynasty in community college hockey. It's merely a stepping stone. So by hosting the tournament and keeping it #1, and plus the educational background and that the kids gather here at the community college at the AVTI helps.
Do a lot of the players that you get here are ones that probably aren't good enough to make it right away in a 4-year school, but then they could go on and play, say, in the junior year, they could go there and make the team?
All right. Well, a lot of them will come here either scholastically, they're having a little problem and they have to adjust to get their grades up, or financially, which has happened this year because of the economy. A lot of the players have stayed around. But it's true. I've had players go on to the WCHA and had many of them gone on to small 4-year schools merely by using this as a feeder program for the bigger schools.
Being the #1 team in the nation, you also have the top goalie in the nation. Is there any pressure on him?
Oh, Stan is a pretty relaxed individual. He's just an outstanding athlete, and I don't think there's any pressure on Stan at all. Stan just loves to play. Matter of fact, he sometimes gets on me and says, I need more shots. And our practices, in some cases, we just have to shoot, you know, maybe 500 or 700 pucks at him just to really, you know, well, sure, every player has to shoot many times at him because he likes a lot of shots, and the more shots, the better he gets.
Yeah. What's your philosophy on the game?
Well, right now with this, you have to go with your talent. But in this particular year, we're trying to play a little bit of a European style where the kids can move around the rink and hit the open man. We're always looking for the open man drill and trying to pick up. See, we can play the body to a certain degree, but you can't lose concept of the flow of the game. And if we're just going to go running out and hitting the body, then we break down. This particular team with 4 lines and with a maturity, we play the body in a 2-man forecheck. We leave the 3rd man deep in the slot to work a defensive triangle with the 2 defensemen. And that has played us our biggest dividends right now. So I'd say a skating game and taking the body when necessary.
You're talking about European style. Could you classify that as a Russian style also, or is that a little bit different?
Well, no, it's kind of a blend, I guess. I try to pick up a blend from all of them. There was first a style that everybody wanted to play the Canadian style, the big hitting game. Well, I think that's probably why we're having so many people injured with the knees and concussions. There's too much running, and I think that the thing has kind of got out of hand a little bit. And you take a look at the top players, how many are out with knee injuries and such. I think that the European style became real popular with the wide rinks in Europe, and everybody was skating and passing. But you still have to keep the body in the game. So I'm trying to maybe commingle all the styles together and again, go with your talent. This year I can do this. Maybe next year we'll have to go back to square one.
I guess probably with to play the European style or Russian style, you have to have speed, because I think that's precision passing and everything that they do.
Well, you have to have that hand-and-eye coordination, have individuals that can play it. Again, you have to go with your talent, and whatever your talent will dictate you. And this year, I feel as though with the people that we have, we can play a kind of a European style, but still we're strong enough to play the body.
I've heard questions all the time of different types of goalies, like a stand-up goalie and a crouch goalie. Like Bob Mason, when he was at UMD, he was a stand-up goalie, and your goalie, he's a stand-up goalie. What's the difference between a crouch goalie and a stand-up goalie?
Well, I've had both through my years of coaching here, and I tell you, they both, again, it's their personality. Tim Pogorel's made All-American playing for us, brought us to the national tournament out in Lake Placid, and he was flopping all around. But he was superior strength and speed. I used to think he was trained with 22 shells. His hands are so quick. Now, Stan Bouch, on the other hand, is a stand-up goaltender and still gets the job done. Stan will just stand there and wait for you to make your move, and once you do, he'll snare it.
I think one of the better crouch goalies that I remember was this Murray McLaughlin from Minnesota. He was just quick as a cat.
Right, and that's just how Tim Pogorel's was. Tim would challenge you. He'd sneak out, go back. He could do drills that I haven't run across another goaltender with the superior strength that he has. Stan Bouch is probably the closest to that goaltender that I've ever had.
You have to play DuPage. Is DuPage rated quite high in the ratings?
Well, we were one at the last time the polls came out. DuPage was fourth, but now this is early in the poll. This is the first in January, the first ones that have been released. DuPage has played Rochester in Rochester and won the first night 6-5 and lost tied the second game 6-6. And then we had played Rochester here. So if that's any indication, but again, it's early in the season, and you don't know what injuries DuPage may have brought to Rochester or anything. So I guess I don't go too much by that. I have to meet them here head on and find out what they have.
How's your status as far as injuries and everything on your team? Are you all healthy?
Well, Dan Hansen had a shoulder separation, and he had a pin put in his arm last year to get ready for this season. And it hasn't healed up quite completely yet, and he's a little bit aggravated by that. Ross Rosati, our leading goal scorer in the nation from Eveleth, Minnesota, he has kind of an ailment in his elbow that gives him some discomfort, but he's able to play. And I'd have to say overall, for the amount of games that we've played, I'd have to say we're healthy.
Any comments on tonight's game?
Well, I think that the whole key to Eveleth's success to this part of the game has been that Eveleth came over here not intimidated, completely psyched up, and they're doing something that no other team has done. They're playing Hibbing's body, and Hibbing's going to have to adjust to that.
Yeah, really, I talked to the Eveleth players. They came here. They says that they're here to play tonight. I said they missed their chance at home. They said they're here tonight to play.
Well, it certainly shows.
Well, thank you, Frank, for being my guest, and I want to wish you continued success on the rest of the year on your team this year.
Thank you very much.
We will be right back with the third period action. Connie says this is the first team that's played Hibbing this game.
Welcome back to the Memorial Building for the third and final period. The Eveleth Golden Bears lead the Hibbing Blue Jackets 3-2, which is really a surprising score.
Well, talking to the players, they said they were going to come here and play, and he says they had the chance at home, and he said they're going to come here, and as my last guest has stated, he says that the big thing is that Eveleth is playing Hibbing's game. They're playing the body, in which they're doing quite well.
Well, you can't really expect Hibbing to be out of this game because we've seen him score 4 or 5 goals in a period.
But it's odd to see a team come and just score 3 goals, bow against Hibbing.
Katani controls the draw. Goes in and takes a backhander shot. Save is made by Canavisto.
We want to say again that this game is being brought to you by the Television Production 2 class and Mass Comm Department of Hibbing Community College, Arrowhead Region. The underwriter for this game is the First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Hibbing.
Draw is knocked out side the blue line. Eveleth controls, breaking it down into the Hibbing zone. Puck is taken there by Katani. Katani up to Zessel. Zessel is just leveled there. Grillo controls the puck out to the point. Bryant breaks in. His shot is deflected wide. Eveleth controls, bringing it out to their own blue line. Pass out of the reach of the Eveleth player. Eveleth shoots it back down into the Hibbing zone. Nikolov picks up the puck. Back to Zessel. Zessel's passes it, tipped away. Back to the defenseman. The defenseman shoots it down into that Hibbing zone. O'Hara stops the puck behind the net. Bryant plays it along the boards. Puck is knocked away from Iozo. Eveleth steals out to the point. It's knocked away. Eveleth controls outside the Hibbing blue line, bring it back into their own end. Pat Morrell shoots it down into the Eveleth zone, where Eveleth controls in the corner. Adrian puts it back to the point to Tom Hansen, knocks it back down into the corner. Morrell picks it up. Puck is knocked away from him, and Eveleth controls. Pass over to Delic. Delic has the puck knocked away from him. Adrian breaks in on the boards. Pass out in front. Oh, Hibbing scores! It's beautifully set up there by away from him. Adrian breaks in on the boards. Pass out in front. Oh, Hibbing scores! It's beautifully set up there by Nick Adrian right out in front. I didn't see who got the goal, but it looked there like Cantor Visto had the
he had it stopped. It just slid between his legs because it bounced. It bounced when he went down. He stopped it, bounced, but somehow it went right through his leg.
Hibbing ties it up at 3:17 of the third and final period. So we have a 3-3 hockey game.
Who scored that one?
I didn't see on the play.
Beacon was in on that. He had one of the passes.
Scoring for Hibbing, number 7, Hendricken. From number 4, Iozo. 7 from 4.
Nick Anderkin gets a goal. The assist is to Pat Iozo. Iozo controls in the board. Along the boards, the puck is knocked away from him. Morrell picks it up, out to the point, to Tom Hansen. Hansen over to the point, and nobody's there. Eveleth's got a 3-on-2 break, and they lose the puck. Hansen picks it up, passes it back out to Iozo. Iozo coming in, makes a move around one man, dumps it into the Eveleth zone. Eveleth controls, shooting around the back of the net. Long pass, and nobody is there. We'll have an icing call against the Eveleth Golden Bears. Well, Hibbing's come out just to fight.
They're number 1 team in the state. They got to have poise and everything, and they're not going to get shook being 1 goal behind. This is HCCV Cable Channel 2 Community Television for the city of Hibbing.
Face off to the left of Cantor Visto, controlled by Eveleth, shooting around the back of the net. It's knocked down in air. Kasner controls. Kasner out to the point to Gusted. Gusted shoots. Oh, and it's blocked. Nice save there by Cantor Visto. Eveleth's got a 2-on-1 break. Oh, he found in a pass. Oh, and it's shot just wide.
Just shot wide of that. He had an open net there if he would have.
Hibbing controls it along the board. Hagen was knocked off the puck. Pass it out in front. Knocked away by Hagen. Pass was blocked there. Puck is knocked back down into the Hibbing zone. Tanya controls it, shoots it around the boards. Eveleth intercepts the puck. It's knocked down in the boards, out to the point. Grillo picks it up. Over to Katani. Katani. Oh, the pass is just knocked away. Check there by the Eveleth player. Shot down in the Hibbing zone.
Fans are hollering for...
Nikolov deflects it out into the zone. Katani picks it up. Katani over to Bryant. Bryant shoots. Shot's just wide. Nikolov picks it up. Grillo fighting for it behind the net. Eveleth controls it. Katani knocks him off the puck.
Oh, he's hurt. Buckle Kachiver, his shoulder, looks like.
Here comes Hibbing, shooting it down into Eveleth's zone. Thomas knocks over the boards. Nikolov chasing the puck. He's knocked off the puck. Eveleth controls up along the boards. Loses it. Picks back up again there. Adrian tries to get around the men. Bryant over to Iozo. Iozo missed. Oh! Canavister fans on the set over. Oh! Iozo scores with the Mount Harligan! Iozo missed. Oh! Canavister fans on the set over. Oh! Iozo scores with the Mount Harligan! That's one heck of an effort there by Pat Iozo. So Hibbing takes a 4-3 lead at the 10:15 mark. They come back from a 3-2 deficit at the end of the second period.
That's 15th goal for Pat Iozo this year, so that gives him 34 points because he had one assist on an earlier goal. He's the leading scorer for Hibbing.
Scoring for Hibbing, number 4, Iozo, from number 7, Anderson.
The official score there is number 4, Pat Iozo getting the goal with an assist to Nick Anderkin, number 7. And Hibbing takes a 4-3 lead. Adrian picks it up to Iozo. He loses the puck. Eveleth takes it out of the zone. Intercepted there by Moreau. Christoph can't quite hold the pass. He dumps it out into the center ice area. Adrian picks it up to Tom Hansen. Tom Hansen breaks in down the left side. Out in front. Oh, and no, Moreau just couldn't quite get there. Pass over to Adrian. Adrian puts it in there. Tip by Moreau. Save is made by Canavister. Out to the point. The shot. Save there by Canavister. The puck is knocked up against the brick wall. And we'll have a face-off to the left of Canavister. With 9:22 left in the third period, with Hibbing with the 4-3 lead.
Yeah, Hibbing is showing why they're number 1 now. They're putting all the pressure on now. Eveleth doing all he can just to hang on.
Eveleth controls the draw. Hagen steals it. There's a fight for it there. Vidmar controls. His pass is knocked away. Easting picks it up. Skates along the boards. He's hit. Knocked off the puck. He picks it up. He shoots it down into the Eveleth zone. We have an icing call on Hibbing. So the face-off will come back to the left of Tim O'Hara. Eveleth really has to get something going now.
There. That last goal that Hibbing scored really looks like it took the wind out of Eveleth, but they're going to have to get their sails going. They got to tire and go ahead. There's only 8:56 left in the game. They've been playing mostly in their own end tonight, or in this last period.
Bryant picks it up in the corner, passes it out to Zessel. Zessel over to Katani. Katani puts it out in front. Oh! Grillo just misses the tip.
Beautiful setup there.
Katani really hits Eveleth player. Puck is deflected out in front. Eveleth controls the pass out. Zessel blocks it. It's knocked into the corner. Katani picks it up. He's knocked off the puck, tries to get it out in front. Eveleth picks it up. Shot down into the Hibbing zone. O'Hara has to make the save. Oh, 2 Hibbing players Mixed up there on the pass. Katani picks it up.
Bryant got hurt that time on that shot.
Eveleth picks it up. Shoots it in. O'Hara makes the save and holds it for a face-off. Well, Eveleth's picking it up a little bit. They're keeping the play mostly in the neutral area, but it's better than down in their own area.
Well,
face off to the left of Tim O'Hara. Excuse me, to the right of Tim O'Hara. Draw is controlled by Hibbing. Out to Pat Iozo. Iozo down the left-hand side. Adrian can't pick up the pass. Pernu.
what a smooth.
Puck just out. Puck just raced him, I guess. There's a nice check right out in front. Shot right on. O'Hara makes the save. At the point. Shot is blocked by Tom Hansen. Up to Pat Iozo. 2-on-2 break. Pat Iozo is pulled down. We're going to have a penalty to Eveleth. Adrian controls. And there's the whistle. So Hibbing's going to be on the power play, be able to see if they can be able to stretch their 4-3 lead, put this one out of reach for Eveleth.
Now this is what Eveleth is. One of the things he said they had to do is stay on the penalty box.
Minor penalty on number 4, McNulty, for holding.
The penalty is to number 4, Scott McNulty. He'll get 2 minutes for holding. Eveleth would really have to stop Hibbing here on this power play.
Yeah, it'd be a good lift for them. I'd imagine a short-handed goal.
Kristoff shoots it down into the corner for Zessel. Zessel picks it up, puts it back out to the point to Kristoff. Kristoff over to Meralt, and he shot it over the net. Kristoff back into the corner. Meralt misses the shot again. Fanned on that one. Eveleth shoots it down the ice. Kristoff picks it up. Stops behind the net. Picked up there by Meralt. Meralt skates up the right side.
Eveleth has to keep him out of their end now.
We'll have a face-off to the left of Canner Vister.
I think it's going to be tough for Eveleth to overcome this. There's going to be, by the time that McNulty comes out of the penalty box, there's going to be less than 5 minutes left to play.
We have 6:21 left in the third period. Hibbing is leading 4-3. 1:15 left in the Eveleth penalty to number 4, Scott McNulty. Draw is controlled by Hibbing. Adrian back to the point. To to Nikoloff. Over to Hansen. Hansen throws it into Katani. Katani shoots it. Shot is blocked out in front, and Eveleth shoots it down the ice. Nikoloff controls behind the net. Iozo up to Hansen. Knocked away from him. Nikoloff picks it up. Nikoloff to Iozo. Iozo over to Hansen. Hansen back to Iozo. Iozo makes a move. Up the right-hand side boards. Out in front. It's Nikoloff. Nikoloff skated the wrong way. Hansen. Oh, we're going to have another penalty to Eveleth. We're going to have a tripping penalty for number 15, Bucko Kachiver. So that's going to really make it tough on Eveleth now, with 2 men in the penalty box for the next 15 seconds, and then they'll be a man short for another 2.
Minor penalty, number 15, Kachiver, for tripping.
Well, I think they might be they'll probably get a few more penalties. They're just trying so hard now to get that puck to get down that other end that they're just taking chances now. Hoping they can get away from that.
If Hibbing can score here, they'll just about put it out of reach.
It'll be out of reach, no doubt about it. There's not that much time left in it.
For Hibbing,
so there'll be only about 3 minutes left by the time Kachiver's out.
Zesso controls the draw. Puts it back to Meralt. Meralt over to Christoph. Christoph shoots. Nice save there by Canavister. Meralt controls right out in the slot. Over to Christoph. Eveleth's got one man back on the ice. They're not playing with 4 players. Scramble for it in back of the net. Puck is controlled there by Hagen. Hagen back to Christoph. Christoph's pass is knocked outside the line. Gusted over to Christoph. Christoph back over to Gusted. Gusted brings it in, puts it over to Grillo. Grillo falls down in the corner. Controlled there by Eveleth. Eveleth clears it down the ice. With 1 minute left in the Eveleth penalty, and we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. Christoph controlled. Up to Adrican. Just a little bit too far. Cleared back into the Hibbing zone where O'Hara has to make a save. Well, Eveleth really can't do anything when they're playing shorthanded.
No, it's tough against a team like Hibbing.
Eveleth will be shorthanded for the next 47 seconds with 4 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game. Nikolov controls. Skates up. Shoots. Shot is deflected over the boards, off the brick wall. We'll have a whistle to the left-hand side. We'll have a face-off to the left-hand side of Canavisto.
The underwriter for this game tonight is the First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Hibbing.
Well, with just under 4 minutes left in the game, Eveleth is really going to have a hard time. They've been doing a good job of killing this penalty, but they're going to have to really come alive with the last 3 minutes of the game.
They're a good coach, good disciplined team, but Hibbing is number 1, and you know you got to really play good, as they're finding out again.
Christoph in the corner over to Adrican. Adrican puts it over to Catani. Catani back to... Oh, Pat Iozzo just misses the net. And a backhand. Tom Hansen shoots. Oh, nice save there by Canavisto out in front. Oh. Eveleth controls. Puck is shot out to the blue line. Oh, we're going to have a hooking penalty to Hibbing.
Tom Hansen will get a hooking penalty, I think.
I don't know, that was kind of a questionable call there. He just pulled his stick back.
Yeah, I don't know. From here, it didn't look like it was.
It's up to the discretion of the ref.
He was right there.
Well, now Eveleth goes on the power play. And this will be they'll just about have to score on this, because after the penalty's over, we only have just over a minute left. The draw is controlled by Hibbing.
This is Hansen's second penalty of the game.
Puck is knocked into the corner. Eveleth controlled. Out to the point. Shots deflected wide. Knocked down there by Vidmark. Out to the point. Knocked back into the corner by Eveleth. Randoon puts it in the corner. Pat Iozzo picks it up. Knocks it out of the zone, out to the center ice area. Eveleth controls. Kochever picks it up, shoots it down into the zone.
Whoa,
Way over the top of the net and lands on the back of the net. We'll have a face-off to the right of Tim O'Hara with 2:33 left in the game and 1:17 left in the penalty to Tom Hansen. Well, they looked like they were going to get something going there, and then they had a little mix-up in the corner, and the puck was kicked out.
there again, a defense. The checking game of Hibbing is showing.
Eveleth controls the draw on their own end. Picked up there by McNulty. McNulty puts it up the boards. Katani steals it. Katani skates around over to Nikoloff. Nikoloff shoots it down into the corner. Around the net. Picked up there by Kochever. Kochever skates out in front of the net. His pass is loose. Katani just couldn't get a lot on that shot. Kochever picks it up. Puts it over to Jarvella.
Oh, boy,
His shot's blocked by Bryant, and Bryant knocks it back down into the end. There's 35 seconds left in the Hibbing penalty and 1:48 left in the game. Eveleth pass to Dienitz. Dienitz can't get it in.
I don't know what they're skating around for. They got to get in there and score.
Scramble for the puck behind the net. Eveleth controls out to the point. Puck's knocked away by Katani. Katani races down the boards. He shoots high over the top, and we'll have a face-off outside the blue line. Well, we have 4 seconds left in the penalty and 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the game. It looks like Eveleth is going to have a tough time.
I think so. I think it's probably going to end up the score it is now. The way it looks now, Eveleth is just outmanned. They got a good team, no doubt about it. But Hibbing is still number one.
Eveleth is, like they said, they came out to play, and they've played a strong game.
They did. They played a good game. They can't feel ashamed about it. They played a real good game.
Draw is controlled by Eveleth. Hibbing's now at full strength. The puck is lost. Hagen's knocked off the puck. It goes down into the Eveleth zone. We have 1 minute left in the period. Cousseau is knocked off the puck there. He takes a cheap shot. No penalty was called.
I was surprised at that one. Offside. They're calling offside on that?
The crowd got a little noisy.
56 seconds left.
Had a little pushing and shoving there in the corner. Looks like Eveleth's getting a little frustrated.
Well, I'm sure they are. They came here looking for a win, and they're close. Timeout. Timeout. Call a timeout.
A 1 minute timeout.
I would imagine they get that puck into their end. They're going to be pulling their goalie, and they're going for all she's worth.
They would really like to come out of here with at least a tie anyway.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to see again that this is 8CCV Cable Channel 2 Community Television for the city of Hibbing. Pat Iozzo, he has increased the leading scorer for Hibbing. He's had a goal and assist tonight for 34 points. And Pat Garrett, he scored a goal. That's the second goal of the game. John Hagen and his breakaway gives him 5 goals for this year.
Hibbing's next game will be at home Tuesday, January 24th against the Aurora Hoyt Lakes Blackhawks.
Yeah, we'll be right here to bring you the play-by-play.
Well, this should be a wild last 56 seconds in this period.
Yeah, I think
Hibbing controls. Adrican kicks it down. Iozzo tried to make a move.
Okay, Nervous though. There he goes. He's off the rink. He got 6. Oh, look.
Christoph controls, kicks it around the board. Knocked down the end by Katani. Eveleth pulled their goalie. They got 6 attackers on the ice. There's 20 seconds left in the period. Eveleth kicks it up front. O'Hara knocks it
save
back.
in there.
Eveleth can't get it out in front.
They're trying.
Tom Hansen ties it up in the corner with 10 seconds left in the game. The face-off will come to the left of Tim O'Hara. Eveleth was really putting the pressure on there. But Hibbing was
Good
keeping
pressure.
it.
They just
Hibbing
put-
was keeping it right next to the boards.
They had Jamie Corvo lost control there for a minute.
Shot, knocked down. That's the end of the game. Hibbing has beat the Eveleth Golden Bears 4-3.
Oh, look at that.
They had some late pushing and shoving there. Looks like
Frustration.
Eveleth had their heart into this game.
Yeah, they did. They don't have to be ashamed. They played good, losing to them by 1 goal. Hibbing's a good team. They showed why they're number 1 in the state. They had
Well, we've seen an excellent hockey game here tonight. More defensively than the last game we covered with Cloquet.
Eveleth doesn't have to be ashamed of playing this game. They came here to play, which they said they did, and they did a real good job. Hibbing showed why they're number one in the state. Eveleth scored 3 unanswered goals in the second period. They put them ahead 3-2, and they had control of the game in the second period. Third period come out, Hibbing, it was all Hibbing. They controlled the tempo in the third period.
Well, Eveleth really only had 2 lapses there in the beginning of the third period when they had those 2 quick goals scored on them.
Yeah, and then they started to get the penalties, and all the pressure was in the Eveleth zone most of the time after that. They just couldn't, they tried, but they started getting the penalties, and that's what happens when you get behind.
Again, 2 good games a good game by both goalies.
Right. Canervis, though, from Eveleth, he did real good. And again, Tim O'Hara playing in the nets for Hibbing tonight also did good.
Well, why don't you give us the wrap-up?
Okay, Hibbing, the final score being 4-3. In the first period, Hibbing got goals by Pat Gozic and Kelly Esty. They led 2-0 after the first period on 2 unanswered goals. In the third period, it opened up with Eveleth. They got 3 goals. One by Brian Redunce, and the second one came by Scott McNulty, and the third by Jeff Corpy. That's the time that Eveleth had picked the tempo up of the game. They led then 3-2. Then a change of events came in the third period when Eveleth scored Hibbing scored 2 unanswered goals. There was that one play by Andresian. He scored to make it, he tied the game. And then Pat Iozo, he come out of nowhere on that left side and put it in to make it 4-3, and that became the end of the game. The penalties for the period, for the game, Eveleth had 4, which was about their average, and Hibbing had 4. The saves for the game, Hibbing, Tim O'Hara, he had 20, and Joha Canervis, though, for Eveleth, he had 24. So overall, the final score was 4-3, and we had overall a very good game.
Well, we'd like to say Hibbing's next home game will be January 24th against the Aurora Height Lakes Blackhawks. And from here, from the Memorial Building, this is John Dorsey.